This, by the way, is a Sundown 2, the boat where the people were on board. 47 people on board this boat were told that the captain had charged some $100 apiece for these passengers. This is exclusive video on board the Sundown 2. Passengers, the bilge pumps working already, water spewing out. There were problems with the pumps. They could not keep up. More water was coming in than the bilge pumps could handle. They developed problems as well. You see the smoke there. At some point in time, someone realized that maybe a flare should be shot up. When they tried to do that, the flare went off on board. There was a scramble on board. They got the flare off of the ship into the water. Subsequently, moments after the flare went into the water, the Sundown 2 went down. We have video of that as well. Shortly after the Sundown 2, the aerial shots of what you'll see is that the people were in the water. You can see them clinging to almost anything. Smoke is showing the spot where the choppers could see where they are. There were Navy choppers, Coast Guard choppers in the air as well. Several cutters in the area responding. This is one of the cutters pulling some of the people out of the water. This is the activity that was going on throughout this morning. It happened shortly after the boats left the pier. They left at 7 o'clock. Only 10 miles out, 2 hours later, did this happen and take place. Members of the flotilla also stuck around and made sure that they were picking up people from the water. This is what was going on this morning. A tragedy at sea. The man who died, 59-year-old Lazaro Gutierrez. That is part of the reason why the flotilla is not going to take place tomorrow. They had considered doing that. They've decided to put it off until October 22nd, when Fidel Castro is scheduled to speak before the United Nations. They hope to go ahead and reform and do it there. Now, as the flotilla left this morning from the dock at 7, between 7 and 7:25, some 25 or 30 boats, we had two reporters as a part of that team, Carlos Granda and John Dutzman. They're standing by on the pier right now. Carlos, take it away.
Well, Cambrell, a chill went through all of us when the news crackled over the radio that a ship had gone down and everybody was in the water. And I'll never forget what I saw when we got to the area where the Sundown 2 sank. Debris scattered everywhere, people in the water, helicopters buzzing all around us, and we had to hold on in our boat so we wouldn't be thrown around. The waves were about 5 to 8 feet. It was an incredible feeling of helplessness as we tried to assist. The survivors were tossed around in the rough seas for almost an hour and a half. Holding on to anything that would float, they waited for rescuers. They say the Sundown 2 went down in a matter of minutes.
The water was just coming in. I really don't know why. It happened so fast. We went under pretty fast. And about, I would say 2 hours into the ocean, the boat started sinking, just making water into it. And we started losing altitude. And we just sank. We sank. In 20 minutes, the boat was gone.
Democracy, U.S. Coast Guard. Roger, sir. At this time, we have units that are attempting to effect rescue. Over.
Every boat taking part in the flotilla responded, immediately turning around as soon as they heard what happened. They found a Coast Guard cutter and helicopters were already there. The big problem, the survivors were drifting apart. Every vessel was needed to surround them and keep them together. Ropes and lifesavers were tossed out and the survivors slowly pulled into safety. At times, however, the vessels got dangerously close to each other.
Hey, hey, hey! Hey!
These rough seas made it very difficult for the people to be rescued. We're in the middle of it right now, the rescue scene. As you can see, many of the boats are all surrounding the area. The seas are very rough, and it was near chaos here. Some of the boats almost colliding with each other as they were trying to get the people out of the water. If we can turn around here to the other side, you can see the Coast Guard helicopters. They formed a ring around the scene as they made sure that everybody who was in the water was rescued. But after the rescue, some of the smaller boats were so full, there was a fear they would capsize. To avoid another catastrophe, some of those rescued had to be transferred to larger vessels in the middle of the ocean. While all this was going on, the waves were pounding the sides of each boat. And as you can imagine, the people in the water at that time were scared and relieved. Scared in the water, obviously, relieved when they were getting out and being rescued. They were being put on several boats out there. On one of those boats was my colleague, John Dutzman, and he tells us how the people were reacting when they got on these boats. John.
Hey, Carlos, even though they were physically pulled out of the water because of those big waves out there, things were still very dangerous. Once the people are plucked out of the water, there's another danger. Some of the boats that rescued them are too small to hold them all. So we pulled over to help.
How's it going, man? You okay? Go. All right. We got it. Further.
What happened out there?
What happened was we started getting water. We started going down, and Raul told me to call the U.S. Coast Guard, and we called the U.S. Coast Guard, and it was a while before they got here.
How frightening was that sitting in there waiting for help?
Well, I'm okay because I'm from the coast in Cuba, but you know, I'm worried about everybody else.
A little bit dizzy right now.
Right now, yeah.
How long were you in the water?
I think an hour and a half.
You look behind me, you see pieces of the boat all over the place, and right there is the name of the boat, part of the sign, the Sundown 2, what's left of it. Here's what the Sundown 2 looked like today as it left the marina before it went under. At least one person aboard said some of the wood on it was rotten.
The wood was rotten, completely rotten.
The hull was broken.
Broken and rotten.
Broken and rotten.
Yeah.
You think the boat should have been out there?
No, not even go beyond the marina. It should not go even beyond the marina.
Should not have left the marina, he says, unseaworthy. But the boat did leave the marina and never returned. One other thing we haven't talked about yet. It was taking so long to get out to the location of the protest. It would have happened maybe around 5 o'clock. We weren't sure, but we were sure by the time these boats headed back, it would have been pitch dark, and a lot of people were in small boats. We would have had another major dangerous situation on our hands. Cambrell?